The House Intel Committee ranking member, Republican Devin Nunes. Congressman, we appreciate you being here. I mentioned the former CIA Director, John Brennan, supposed to be in a nonpartisan job when he was there. He has spent practically the last 2 years charging that treason was committed. Where does the president go to get his reputation back?
It's not going to be easy, and I don't think Republicans or any American should be celebrating anything to do with Mueller. Okay, it's fine. He's not going to indict any more people, but there are a whole bunch of indictments that are awful. What happened to these people is terrible. And so what we really need, people are talking about what we need to see. We need to see the origins of this investigation. We don't even know what Robert Mueller was supposed to be looking at. So the irony that the Democrats are now calling for full transparency when for 2 years they blocked their involvement. This was a Clinton, Obama, and a bunch of dirty cops at the FBI that started this in the first place.
All right, let's break that down. What kind of transparency do you want? You've been pushing for a couple of years for the FISA documents, for example, in order to get the surveillance of Carter Page, a Trump campaign advisor. You got some of the materials, but not all of it. You're still waiting for the president to declassify some information. What else do you want to see?
Well, let's just start with just on Friday, some real news broke. 40 pages of McCabe's phone calls, text messages. McCabe was the former deputy director of the FBI. He's knee deep in the involvement in this whole setup. Those just came out. Those leaked to Fox News. Okay, we've been asking for those for over a year and a half. So somebody over at DOJ and FBI obstructed our congressional investigation. Let's just start there. Secondly, I mentioned the scope memo. What's a scope memo? This is what Rod Rosenstein wrote the second time, okay, because remember, he started with the Mueller investigation in May. That was a phony beginning to that because he had no underlying crime. And then in August, he wrote a new memo to tell Mueller what to do. None of us in Congress ever saw that. So we can start there. There's a whole bunch of information in the FISA that we can go on and on. It'll take the rest of your show.
Sure. Congressman, I want to jump on something else you said. You leveled a heavy charge. You've done this before, that there were dirty cops, or there was James Comey, Strzok, Page, McCabe. We can name them all. Let's assume for a second that you're right. Why then did some of the president's top officials, like, say, his national security advisor, General Flynn, why did they lie to the FBI? If there was no collusion, why did they lie?
Well, as you know from the report that we did, that the House Republicans did, that is still has not been challenged at all. It's proven to be right when all the other reports were wrong, including many people, almost the entire media apparatus. But our report said that the agents that interviewed Flynn did not think he was lying. As it relates to General Flynn, there is a whole lot there that the public needs to know about that remains classified.
Sure. Okay, so there's still a dispute
Flynn
of that.
was set up.
Yeah,
Flynn was set up, and people need to understand that, and we need all that information.
Okay, but again, if there's setups, Paul Manafort, what he ended up getting convicted over was bank and fraud charges, not tied to President Trump, not tied to the 2016 campaign. But on the other hand, he was accused of witness tampering, Bob Mueller says. Again, why the efforts to appear at least to obstruct the investigation by others outside the White House when there may be no collusion?
Yeah, well, the easy answer on that had to do with Manafort, his past going back 2 decades. It had nothing to do with Russia. There was never any ounce of evidence of anyone in the Trump orbit at all working with Russians. There was only information of the Clinton campaign working directly with Russians, and that was never investigated by Robert Mueller, which is another reason why I say no one should be celebrating what Mueller's done here. This is an embarrassment to America.
An embarrassment. Quick last question, Congressman. Bill Barr, when he's done with dealing with this Mueller report, do you have confidence that he's going to hold FBI and DOJ officials accountable?
I do, and we are working on a criminal referral. So many of the dirty cops, people will find out who actually we believe those dirty cops are. We will be sending that to the Attorney General Barr, among other names that I think people will be surprised at.
All right, we're looking forward to seeing that. We appreciate you coming in tonight and telling us about it first. Congressman Devin Nunes, thank you.